You ever get a PP bus short on your bench? It's always too good to be true. So we can see this kind of burn spot here, which means something basically exploded, and that's right next to our SSD regulator. It's an A2141. And let's see. What a mess. All right. So I'm recording this in the middle of the day, so I feel like an insane person talking to myself here. I was really happy. I was like, oh, cool, PP bus main short. The data on this is important, so this is not a good sign. What we would hope here is that we don't have shorts on other stuff around this. So our PP bus resistance is like 0.3 ohms. So it's just kind of, you know, classic. I mean, this thing just did like 5 volts and, you know, no current, basically. And we can see, oh, I'm hiding the microscope cam. All right, so we measure on the PP bus fuses right here, 0.3. It's good to have it just to measure both sides just to make sure you don't have a bad fuse, because maybe 1 every 300 MacBook board repairs you'll have a bad fuse. So we know that's a problem. And well, I think we obviously know what caused our short circuit here. Now, did our regulator also kill, you know, these 2.5 volt lines around the SSD? Let's just check our resistance on these. See what we're getting. So, yeah, not a good sign. 0.6 ohms on the NAND. Really not good, unfortunately. Data is probably gone. I'm gonna remove this stuff though, and we'll see if that that changes. Hopefully. If not, then this board's just kind of toast, and this stuff's gone, which sucks. Let's just get all this shit off here and see if we see anything different. I don't have a nozzle on. Where is on your nozzle? I think this capacitor is bad. Yeah, this looks like it burnt a hole through the board. What is that? It's just like like a vertical. Oh my. Ugh. I assume we're still going to have a short on PP bus here. Let's just see if our NAND resistance changed. So actually, yeah, our 2v5 is now at like 600 ohms. That's actually good potentially. I might just drill a hole in the board right here. Is what I'm thinking. Let's see if our short's down. That would be kind of crazy. Of course not. Let me clean up the solder first. So we still have a short on PP bus, but our NAND short is gone, so data might still be retrievable. What do we have right here? Like a screw thread. I might be able to get away with drilling a hole through the board here. Maybe. Because what we really don't need is this capacitor. Scrape some of this away and look.
Let me see if I have a screen.
Guy might have one at RSM, and I still think he's gonna come by today potentially. Let me just check with him. We could. I'm gonna talk to the customer first and make sure they're okay with data recovery only, because I think I will just need to drill a hole through the board here to resolve the PP bus short. But our resistance on 2v5 NAND did go up with these parts removed, so there is a chance that the data is going to be recoverable here. And I'm an insane person, so I'll try this. Hopefully we can get data. Or else I don't make any money. I would love to do that, so I'm going to call this guy. We'll see if he is okay with our science experiment. All right, so we spoke to the customer. The data is important. They do still want to save it. I did clear this off a little bit further at this point. And I think my plan here is to basically drill, or I guess Dremel away at this and see if we can just do a few layers to get it off. As far as spots to have a hole burned in the board, this isn't the worst place it could be. We're really close to the edge, and I don't think we're gonna have much travel through here, rather. So right, it's right here basically, and I think really we just have a path for like this and this. I don't think the inductor side shorted, so I'm just gonna kind of take off this corner. We also have to consider obviously the other side of the board, which is just more, you know, this. So I think I'm just gonna kind of remove this section. I'll probably just do this with a scalpel. This is just kind of like a long, tedious thing to do. So right now, if we measure, you know, our SSD G3 hotline, still short. We've removed this current sense resistor up here, which should separate PP bus from it at this point. So like just for example, our actual, you know, PP bus here is no longer short. You're getting about, you know, 500 ohms or so. Nothing crazy. So what we want is that G3 hot SSD line to not be shorting anymore. So and really for this, we're just concerned about data. I just need to get this current sense resistor on, this chip, and this inductor. We don't care about any of these caps. We're just gonna try to make a backup, and this is gonna be moved on to a another machine. I'm gonna start a new clip on this because I'll probably just, you know, put some music and fast forward this section. But we're gonna start by cleaning this off, and then we're gonna remove the corner of this MacBook board. Okay, but this took a lot longer than I expected, and was a lot worse than I expected. I really thought, you know, originally, right, I took this in, it just had a short circuit on PP bus. I went, oh, great, nice, easy repair. I removed these inductors so I could get a more shallow angle when I'm chipping away at this. Pretty much what I'm gonna do here, well, one, when you're scraping away the layers, you want it at an angle so you can keep the layers separated, because what you don't want is like, you don't want to be smushing them together. Now that I don't have a short on that line anymore and these layers look good and separate, I'm going to cover everything in conformal coating and cure it. And then we're going to we need to get this chip on, these two inductors, and this current sense resistor. That's really all we care about. We don't care about any of these capacitors. So, you know, we're trying to get, you know, this guy, and this guy on here somehow. This guy, I guess we'll just kind of solder half on, run a wire. So we're going to need to get that. Well, obviously, we're going to need to run a jumper here. I'm kind of thinking that I want my selection color to be different. All right, color preferences. I'm going to change pin 1 to like that color. Okay. Something like that. So we're gonna need to run a wire here on these 3 pads to here for 2v5 supply on that chip. What a fucking mess this will be. And then we'll kind of double check that these lines are going where they need to still. Really though, we just need these going to where they're supposed to go. So like these guys are done. Probably have to run some lines to this guy. We'll see. Probably just gonna do another kind of recording stuff and put some music, because I think this will take a while too. But we'll see. Maybe this will work. All right. This is our moment of truth here. So I think I might have accidentally not recorded a large part of this. So this is our end result. You can see here, I've added a little bit more conformal coating over the wires, but we ran wires under the TPS62180. We ran it to the inductor, from under that chip to the inductor. Then we have all 4 lines on this current sense resistor running to their corresponding locations. It's a lot easier to just flip this over since we have these 2 top ones just missing. So we flip those over, ran into this guy, see if it works. Let me open USB-C software. Okay. Oh boy, oh boy. Sure hope this works, because if not, I think I'll be done with this. We are getting 20 volts. This seems to be turning on. And it cycled down. I'm maybe going to put this back together now and see what happens. We're getting up to 20. Let's see if it does that again. All right. I'm going to put this back together and see what happens. I think we're on. We're getting up to 40 watts. I don't know if the storage is like crashing or something, but we'll see. I'm trying to make a backup of this sucker. To quote Dracula, this shit ain't nothing to me, man. This is on. The backlight's really dim. We can see a little flower there, though. It lives, so we're going to make a backup of this and put it on another MacBook. This very well might work for a while. I certainly wouldn't trust it to work forever, so we're going to make a backup, get this onto a new MacBook. Important data on this is saved. And that was the goal, and it's accomplished. So I'm going to shut this down for now. It's at 63% battery. Once I get the password, I'll turn the brightness up and just show another. It's kind of hard to see. Complicated ish, but also simple, if you know what you're doing. So get your MacBook dusted out, and then you won't have to do this, and make sure you back up your stuff, and then you won't have to pay me a bunch of money to fix this after several other shops said you're fucked and your stuff's gone. Here, we'll be back in a moment. All right, so we just signed in. I turned up the brightness and just opened a Chrome tab on a new user, so no one's information is being shared. As you can see, MacBook is on. We're going to make a time machine backup of this. I just kind of wanted to give a brief summary here. So let's look here. I think we look at our initial pictures here, right? So, ow, right? Basically, dust builds up here, big ouchy short, and we can kind of see from the burn path here, basically all of this bad. So we cut out all of this with a Dremel and a scalpel. Another picture. We'll go a little play-by-play here. This is what that stuff removed. So we can see kind of the chart area. And essentially what we see right here is what was bad. So this did go pretty much through the entire board right here. And some spots is maybe through like 4 or 5 layers. There's about 11 layers, maybe 10 in the board. All no bueno. Remove those suckers. Scrape it away. Like so. Some progress. I think we went a little bit further. Yeah, we went further than that. Well, we videoed everything, but we cut out a little bit more. Then we saw that our PP bus, G3 hot, supply for the storage, this guy right here, that short went away once we dug out pretty much, this stuff here. And then after that, we just needed to get components on there and run wires that was missing, right? So we had to cut out the pad for this inductor here. We basically had to cut out this. We did just cut off this capacitor as well as the one on the back side of the board. We don't really need these to get a backup, so we don't bother with those, but we need this. We need this current sense resistor, and we need this chip on here. So for example, these 3 pads are just chopped off the board here. These caps, it doesn't matter. These are all running on the same line. It's fine. We're just going to make a backup. And then we run a wire from here to here. We run a wire from here to there, from here to there, there to there, here to here. And that's essentially, it's easier just to flip over this current sense resistor and run those wires from the top side. This one felt pretty good to get working. I feel very good about myself. Hopefully this helps someone. This is a pretty lucky example of an internal board short. It's near the edge of the board, and we were able to cut out stuff and really not lose a lot of traces. Just, we basically lost the paths to like 6 things. Not a big deal. They're things that we could run fairly easily, given the circumstances. So we're going to start backing this up. I'm just going to let it run overnight, and then we're going to move this stuff into another MacBook, basically. They might, be able to use this for a little bit, but I recommend a new Mac on this. I don't really trust this to work forever. We'll see you in the next video. Hopefully this helps someone.